take us through your extraordinary new reporting that, to me, bolsters this idea that you hear from Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson that the threat to democracy is a clear and present danger that is ongoing.
Right. And as you said a minute ago, Nicolle, we know that part of the narrative story that the committee is planning to tell is that the insurrection is still happening across the country, and that there is a concerted effort underway to make it easier to subvert the 2024 results than it was in 2020 when the guardrails held. The committee, as well as we in the media, have been documenting who was there on January 6th of 2021 and what their role was, and who among them are seeking office, particularly positions of authority over our elections, Attorney General, Secretary of State, Governor, United States Senate. And the fact that we only just learned, this month, basically, that this woman, Misty Hampton, a former election supervisor in Coffee County, Georgia, did what she did and was willing to compromise the security of her office and equipment in the name of protecting it, means that it's a completely open question how many other Misty Hamptons there are out there, what they've already done, and what they're planning to do in the upcoming elections.
Amy, you also have some incredible sound from Scott Hall. He's the businessman who she threw the doors open to the voting office. Let me play that sound.
I'm the guy that chartered the jet to go down to Coffee County to have them inspect all of those computers, and I've heard zero. Okay? I went down there, we scanned every freaking ballot. They sent their team down to Coffee County, Georgia, and they scanned all the equipment, imaged all the hard drives, and scanned every single ballot. Absentee in person, and absentee by mail. And have gotten no feedback.
They imaged the hard drives?
Yes.
How in the world did you get permission to do that?
We basically had the entire elections committee there. Okay? And they said, we give you permission. Go for it.
So, Amy, I guess first, is it legal for Scott Hall to do what he did in his own words, image all the hard drives, scan every single ballot, absentee in person, and absentee by mail?
No, it's against policy. And Misty Hampton, who was then known as Misty Martin, received a memo from the state elections director at the time, a gentleman named Chris Harvey, and all election administrators across the state of Georgia received this memo reminding them that it is not proper to, it is not allowed to let non-officials in to look at or touch or scan or mirror election equipment. It's considered critical infrastructure by our federal government. I do want to say, though, that we were not able to confirm that what Scott Hall said on that recording is true. The folks inside the Secretary of State's office in Georgia don't believe that an actual breach happened. There's no evidence of the breach out on the internet, on social media, unlike some of the other instances that we've read about in Colorado and Michigan. And the investigation at the Secretary of State's office is ongoing. But to me, the larger point is it almost doesn't matter if the mirroring or breach of the equipment happened. The fact that a woman in a position of power to lead this local election office let people in with the goal of giving them access is extraordinary and what many, many election experts say a true threat to our democracy.
Amy, do we know, when Hall says he arranged a plane to take people to Coffee County, do we know who paid for that plane? Is Mr. Hall someone that public records show owns a plane?
No, we dug down that avenue pretty extensively and came up short. We do not know. We actually reviewed, general aviation records for the local airports and did not find anything at all. So we were not able to confirm that private aircraft flight either.
I want to sort of offer something else that happened yesterday as a broader frame for all of this. This is someone that Michael Steele and I have talked about a lot. This is Judge Michael Ludig. He is in the old Republican Party and even in this version of a Trumpist Republican conservative movement. He advised Mike Pence during the time of the 2020 election. Here's what he said about how much danger we are in right now compared to January 6th. Let me play that.
I believe that we're in greater danger, if you will, today than we were on January 6th. The reaction has been, the collective reaction, I'll say, has really been just the opposite of what it ought to have been. Namely, we have a complete denial of the 2020 election. We have a denial of the significance of January 6th for our country, and we have a continued war. Really, and I hate to say this, but we have a war going on now over America and over its institutions of democracy.
Michael Steele, I've raised Judge Luttig's comments before because he is in this world. Again, he was advising Mike Pence between November and January, between the election that Trump lost and the deadly insurrection. And he's absolutely right. And I guess I lift that up because I'm not sure the networks that most of the folks in our former party watch will. But for Judge Luttig to say, we have a war going on now over America and its institutions of democracy is a headline, if there ever was one, on the right and within the right. And that's absolutely what we're watching and what we're covering. That's absolutely where this reporting falls in. That there's an active effort to continue today to undermine the results of the last election Trump lost, to sow the seeds to meddle in the next election, shall he run again.
And my concern to that point, and I think Judge Luttig is absolutely right, is how seriously do we take it? Listen, I get, what Amy was just reporting. But look, I take Scott at his word. If he said he took a plane down there and this is what they tried to do, okay, then let's put that pin in that and understand how that falls into the broader narrative that the judge is putting in front of us. The thing about a lot of these folks is their bravado is an outward expression of what their intent is and their hope for outcomes. And they say so and they brag about it and they're happy to talk about it because they don't believe they can be stopped. They think that there are more people in this country on their side than against them. And until the rest of us push back and tell them and show them that's not the case, that they are the outliers. They are the ones in the wrong. They are the ones who are looking to upend and destroy democracy as we know it in this country. They're going to continue to do that. So it puts pressure on the January 6th Commission to understand exactly what's at stake here. My good friend Jamie Raskin, I appreciate the words, baby, but don't tell me you're going to blow the roof off the sucker, right? Do it and let me conclude that. Yeah. As the observer, as the voter, as the citizen, let us come out and say, damn, look at this. Because if you fall short of that expectation that you have set, it falls in the political bucket. It falls in the dismissal bucket. It falls outside of what Americans begin to care about because right now they're more concerned about paying more at the gas pump than they are to democracy. They're more concerned about the cost of inflation than they are the democracy. So you've got to pinpoint this narrative that without the democracy, it doesn't matter what you're paying for gas. Without the democracy, it doesn't matter what inflation is, because someone else is going to be controlling your lives in a way that you can never imagine under this system. And so the judge is exactly right about what is at stake at this moment.